What about using short films to build an audience? I want to talk about this quickly. I make my videos on TikTok, and I got commented this on IG, so I can't link you, but I'll try and tag you. Essentially, there are two ways that you can build an audience. And I think the way that is becoming the predominant favorite for people is making TikToks like this, because you can do it quickly, you can do it a lot. And actually, in the early stages of building an audience, volume is the key, right? Just getting out and doing it and getting feedback data on what people like, what makes people do things. I don't think filmmakers can make films that are up to their standard at the speed and volume that they need to for that to be the primary way that they build an audience, which is why I think making films and talking about making films are two different things. Talking about making films builds your audience. Making films builds your career, because that's the thing that people are excited to see. So when it comes to putting films out, there are two ways to do this. You can put them up on YouTube and people can watch them for essentially free, right? But they need to watch them in such high numbers that it doesn't make effective sense to monetize that way, in my opinion. So I personally would spend a lot of time making free content on social media that talks about making films. And then when people are like, oh, this guy's interesting, I'll watch his films, you give them a monetized link to go to. Not a lot of money, £1, £2. It doesn't need to be crazy. But you set that up on stan.store, or you set that up on whop.com. And that means that when somebody sees your content and they like you enough to investigate further and watch that film, not a lot of money that they're spending, and they might not be somebody who is interested in short films, right? They might just like your style, like what you're talking about, being a filmmaker, your interests, your references. But by using that to push them to a place, you get an email address, which is very, very useful for data, because when you make your next film, you can email that person and say, hey, I made another film, come and watch it. And you start building an audience, not only on social media, but an audience that you can talk to through that other method, through an email. But it also gives you a monetization point, because at some point in the future, you might have 10 short films that you've made and that have been financed through people watching your previous films. And you can then say, hey, watch all of my 10 short films for £10. And then suddenly they have like a feature film's worth of content to watch that spans your career, that you own and that you are monetizing, but you're doing so by making lots of other additional content. I think that is if not the better way of doing it as a filmmaker, it is definitely a way of growing. It's data rich, it has a monetization point, and it means that you can scale in the future if you can find a balance of ROAS, basically.